the main thing for us that we kind of talk about is like more kind of like being around people who are super passionate about what they're doing and like are always kind of improving and working on what they're doing. Has That's been just a great lesson, I think for us artistically, just about seeing people who are always trying to like continue working and just stay busy with their art. I think it's been really, really cool. And that like for sure 100%.
Hey guys, James Wilson Taylor here for Rock Sound. Now there's some brand new music coming soon from Taipei, Houston. I'm delighted to say that the guys from the band are on the line right now. Hi gentlemen, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Myles and Layne here, right? It's good to be able to talk to you guys, especially this kind of exciting moment when there's new music on the horizon. I want to start with, I guess, where this project kind of began and came together. Really feels like it's been the last couple of years. You guys have finally kind of settled on a sound and decided that this is what you to do, right? Tell me about those kind of early days and putting this whole thing together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we started about 2 years ago, kind of on the precipice of COVID and everything, and it's just being locked down, having way too much time on your hands, and getting together and just trying to figure out what we wanted to do. So,
Yeah, no, and just kind of like through that, kind of like you're saying, like starting a longer process of trying to find the full sound and kind of like through just a lot of different experimentation with a lot of different things, just like finally kind of landing on a place where you sort of feel like, okay, like maybe this is a good spot for going forward.
Yeah, it's a nice mix. I've heard some of the new music, and it's really kind of interesting. You've got kind of some heavier influences in there, but I can also hear a lot of kind of indie rock influences coming in, a lot of kind of really different, interesting stuff. What kind of bands were you listening to? What kind of styles were you approaching when you were kind of finalizing where you wanted this to go, I guess?
well, we're both really big indie fans generally, but we also grew up listening to a lot of heavier stuff. So it's pretty. I mean, our we listen to stuff that's pretty all over the map. I mean, Arctic Monkeys are a big band for us, but then Radiohead as well, Jack White. Um,
Yeah, no, I think for us, like it's because it's like we have such a love of kind of heavy stuff and stuff that goes hard, but then also sort of like, I guess we've always sort of like thought about some of this music more from like the heavy version of some more indie stuff, kind of, if that makes sense, as opposed, it's kind of an interesting line we've started walking with some of it. And I think that like we're just excited to kind of keep walking that line and sort of just like carving out this little space there, you know what I mean? Because I think it's sort of like a different, interesting thing.
Yeah, we definitely asked ourselves when we were writing a lot of these songs, like we were thinking about it as like, how do we write really heavy alternative rather than like thinking about it as hard rock or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's been said to death at this point, hasn't it? But genre lines just blur more and more each year, and we should really, really celebrate that. It's exciting to be able to hear lots of kind of different styles being played around with. So the collection that's about to come out is Once Bit Never Bored. It's a cliche question, but I like to ask it all the time. I love asking about album titles. I guess, are we calling this an album? Are we calling this a kind of collection? What are we doing with that?
The official term is project. I mean, for us, like we kind of wanted to just. I mean,
Yeah.
we're okay with anyone calling it anything.
Call
Like
it what you want.
we kind of just wanted to like get it out there as quickly as we could, and sort of not have it be some kind of thing about like, oh, it's an album of this, or people get into concepts. We were just like, let's get it out there. I
Sure.
mean, yeah, for us, like the album name kind of is actually interesting. Sort of came about before some like it kind of came about in the process of finding all of the songs for it. You know what I mean? Like there was stuff where we were like, okay, like these couple songs are gonna be something we're gonna do with, and we were still kind of finding some of the other ones. And it's actually interesting because it's like that album title I think came about as sort of like it helped kind of guide us into what we were gonna do with the whole thing and kind of helped us shape it even more. And so it was like extremely helpful, and we kind of found that like a little earlier in the process with this specific project. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no, no. It's definitely a striking title there. But it's interesting you say a project because I think that is kind of what people want now, isn't it? It's like you don't necessarily again have to play by the rules of like here's an EP, here's an album, whatever. Just getting music out there seems like a good attitude to have, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, and especially like, and today, kind of like you're saying, it's like just as much stuff as you can get out there, kind of as quickly as possible.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Well, let's talk about some of the stuff that's already out there. A couple of singles. Let's start with the middle first of all. Tell me a little bit about where that track kind of came together, and I guess that fan reaction, which seems it seems to have been really, really well received so far.
Yeah, it's been really cool to have it out. That one, we kind of have like two different ways that we write songs generally. Some of them are like, because there's only two of us, born out of like working a lot on the computer and me playing a lot of guitar. And then there's songs that come about like in 5 minutes playing together on the floor. and that was one of the ones that was 5 minutes together on the floor. So that was just like one of like about a year ago, probably just really quickly, kind of from messing around together, just having fun doing it. Kind of came about, yeah.
Yeah. Did you find it in general with this kind of collection of songs? Was it quite a quick process for you guys, or have these been kind of bits of ideas floating around? I guess again, like we say, it feels like it developed a lot during lockdown. Having that kind of downtime where you actually did have some time and space to work on these. That's got to kind of be a luxury in a way.
Yeah, no, it was kind of both ways. Like a lot of it came about really quickly, and then a lot of it kind of took longer to form. And I think it was kind of one of those things, sort of like I was saying, where like as we got further into it, we started to kind of make sense of more of it. So we were sort of, it was kind of one of those things where like we'd come up with something or we would find a thing, we'd go like, that's really interesting, but I don't know what to do with that kind of yet or something like that. And then it was more, like there's specifically one of the songs which is coming out of the project called Hello from the Bottom. Like there's parts of it that are way older than the rest of it because we were sort of like, this is really great, but I don't know where to take this yet, kind of, you know what I mean? And then it was like through the process of having some other songs come in just like 5 minutes on the floor where we went like, okay, this is the direction of kind of where we're heading. And then we could kind of go back and revisit some of those ones that we were like, this is really great, but I don't, it hadn't quite found its home yet, and it was cool because then there was, it was great because there was things where we were like, oh, that, we didn't want to like let go of them because we thought they were cool parts or something like that. And then we ended up getting to incorporate them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be nice as well. And now you've been able to get out there and do some live shows. I see you did like some festivals and stuff like Lollapalooza or all that kind of thing. A couple of high-profile support slots coming up, I can see as well, which is very, very exciting. In terms of the approach to live show, I mean, obviously, you guys. I mean, it's no secret. You guys have grown up around rock shows, right? So I'm sure you probably had like some ideas already about what to expect in terms of like the kind of bigger stages and that. But how do you approach those kind of early shows where you're getting out there and playing this music a lot of the time for audiences who are hearing it for the first time?
I think it's really fun to. I'm also the fun part about playing the early shows is that nobody had heard the music. I thought that was like an interesting because now that people are starting to hear the singles, there's a like a duality in the way that the records sound and the live show is. You know what I mean? The live show as a duo is this really like kind of wild and garagey way of doing the songs. You know what I mean? And so it's increasingly more and more exciting to just have people hearing more and more of the songs and then getting to see them live. But it was interesting to play all the early shows without people having that side of it. I thought it was also sort of like a good training ground for us because we could mess around with a lot of things without people having known the music, which was cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, always good to see that. And how about for festival crowds in particular? Because something like Lolla is obviously a kind of legendary event all the way through the years. How did you find that experience in playing for, it is naturally a very different crowd when you get in front of a festival, right?
Yeah, no, the festivals are cool because it's always a mixed bag of people, but it's also like people who are there to enjoy music. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like the main thing is sort of like if you're a headliner or something like there's people who are there for the headliners or something like that, and obviously like they're doing their thing, but sort of the people who are at festivals coming to like the more like midday slots and stages and stuff like that are people who are literally just like interested in trying to find new music. And so it's like I've always found the festivals are like super fun and really receptive just because it's like such a great way of just gathering a bunch of people and just kind of getting to show them new music, which has been really, really cool. Yeah, like all the festivals, Reading Leeds was a ton of fun. Like it was super awesome.
Yeah, we go extra hard in the UK. I know I'm very, very biased, but that's got to be a nice experience as well, actually finally getting in front of UK crowds.
Like we're so excited to come back.
Yeah.
You guys love your rock.
Definitely, cool. Definitely. It's definitely a special thing.
We had a lot of fun. So
yeah. No, it's great to hear. You guys definitely make the type of music that's going to get a big response over here in the UK. I can feel that, man. It's definitely something. Yeah, very, very ingrained in the culture right there. I do want to mention, look, again, it's no secret. There's a family connection here. Of course it is. It's a family business, the world of rock and roll. I do just kind of want to ask one thing there, which is really, has he offered any advice, your father? Has there been much in the kind of way, at these early stages of band, obviously he's been through all the ups and downs and all the kind of various scales of this whole thing. Was there any advice he's kind of passed on to you guys as you kind of set out on more touring cycle and putting out more new music?
Yeah, I think... especially early on, he gave some advice that was cool. We played him a few songs and just Not really. There's not really like one soundbite in particular. It was more just like stuff about kind of just, you know, don't waste time doing this or doing that. Like, don't take 10 years to make your music. Like, get it out there. Like, go show people what you're doing. You know what I mean? Just be smart and time efficient and the kind of stuff like that. You know what I mean? General industry advice, which is always really good to have, I think, because music industry is crazy. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I sort of mentioned it earlier, but having that life where I presume you guys must have spent a huge amount of time on the road as kids or whatever, you've seen your fair share of rock shows. That in itself has got to be a really nice training ground to go into something. I'm sure you must have learnt a lot over the years just from being around it, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the main thing for us that we kind of talk about is like more kind of like being around people who are super passionate about what they're doing and like are always kind of improving and working on what they're doing. Has That's been just a great lesson, I think for us artistically, just about seeing people who are always trying to like continue working and just stay busy with their art. I think it's been really, really cool. And that like for sure, 100%.
That's definitely an inspiring thing you learn a lot from is being around people who take what they're doing creatively very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. No, no. What a great kind of environment to be around as you embark on it yourselves. It makes a lot of sense. How far ahead are you guys kind of thinking though? We keep referring to this as a project. It's the first project out there, which is good. Are we thinking about music beyond that? How much kind of stuff is in the locker? How much are you playing with at the minute?
Yeah,
There's a lot in the locker.
definitely. Yeah.
There's not anything particular right now, but there's definitely going to be stuff coming soon.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, kind of the main thing we, sort of saying, like, if this is just the first project, we just want to get it out there. It's like, it's because there's got to be more coming. You know what I mean? And it's sort of like, I think for us, we found this thing and we want to get it out there and just kind of keep exploring and keep pushing and putting new stuff out there. And I think, like, we're just really excited for, getting this out of here for the rest of the year and finishing out with this stuff. And then also just like what the future holds for the next year as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of ambitious stuff coming. I mean, like we say at the time of recording, I mean, is it tomorrow night, this big show in LA? Is that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Man, so supporting Muse for people who don't know. I mean, that's got to be, again, what a perfect pairing for a start, I would say. But to be
Yeah.
able to step on a stage with guys like that, again, that's another inspiring moment, surely.
Yeah, we are definitely like through the roof about that. It's like one of my favorite bands since I've with kids. So
Yeah, definitely super insane.
yeah, gonna be really really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and knock it out of the park. So
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, man. No, amazing, amazing opportunity right there. I'll leave you with this, gents. It's something I like to ask whenever there's like a new release from an artist, and we're kind of at the point we are now. I mean, we're a couple of weeks away at the time of recording, but by the time people see this, it'll be just about to drop. I always like to ask what you hope people take away from that first listen. The record's out there, people are hitting play on that Friday morning or whatever it is. And what do you hope that they kind of take away from that initial listen to these songs that you've put together?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the main thing I want is like, I think a lot of the music kind of came out of a reaction to everything that's been going on in the world in the past few years, and not just in the global world, but also like in music and the music world of stuff and kind of the things that have been going on. And like, I guess for us, it's sort of a little bit, it's kind of like what we feel we need to put out there and what we like, I guess for lack of a better term, it's like what I would want to hear from a band or something, if that makes sense. And so I guess like what I want is I want people to click on it and go sort of like, oh, this is like, there's people still trying to like make music about how crazy stuff is right now and just like a reaction to that kind of thing. And like for anybody who's feeling like that, like that's what I want people to realize about this project is like, things are crazy. We feel crazy. We're trying to kind of get it out there and just say like, you're not the only ones feeling like this or something like that.
Yeah, it's nice. I've been chatting about this with a lot of artists recently. It's funny how some artists have gone really escapist and wanting to not touch these subjects at all and write something completely different, which I totally get. But other artists, it's like, yeah, we kind of want to touch on what's been happening the last couple of years, but it feels cathartic in a way when you're doing it, particularly through rock music, right? It's kind of nice to get those feelings out there, I feel.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, and it's not like it's about, it's not like they're like topical song topics or anything. It's more just like, I think in the feeling and the way that I think hopefully the emotion comes across in the music, you know what I mean? And I would just want it to be something that like everybody could relate to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've all gone through different experiences, but we've all gone through something. So it's nice to have a bit of a release. I think that's a good way to kind of look at it for sure. Guys, best of luck with everything, man. Nice to be able to chat to you guys. And yeah, we look forward to, like I say, seeing you back here in the UK at some point. But best of luck and take care of yourself till then. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Great to chat to you guys.